Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tinmans Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tinman Taylor, and today I got my mom sitting outside with me so we can both share this story with you all about the time me and her had to pull off the side of the road and help out with this car accident that happened. So, Mom, I remember it being like late 2007, early 2008 because
It won't 08.
it won't,
No.
because I know Grandma died in '08 and my arm was already healed up from that surgery I had.
It's either 06 or 07.
Okay. We stopped by McDonald's and got me some nuggets for like an early supper, I guess. And we were going to pick up my grandma, and she was staying at her
Sister's house. And we were going to pick her up. But on the way, there had been an accident where involving two cars. So me and Jeffrey, I told him, I said, we need to stop and see if we can help because there was no help there at the moment. So we did.
But there was already a lady there at the scene that came up to your window and asked for your phone. Or
She wanted me to call 911, which I did. And they asked for a location and everything, so they got the paramedics, ambulance, and all to come down. What happened next, Jeffrey?
Well, let me paint a picture for you. We were coming down this way. One of the cars that was involved was in the woods with their bumper facing us, and the other car had a pregnant woman in it, and her car was facing like this, towards the side of the woods. And you found out how that happened?
A woman that was stuck between the trees, she had 5 grandkids in her car. And it was at a 4-way, well, where the road crossed over, it was like a 4-way. But she had ran the stop sign into the traffic because the kids were in the back cutting up. And I guess she turned around to say something to them or whatever, and she didn't stop at the stop sign. And when she came across the road, the lady in the other car was pregnant. They collided, and the woman with the grandkids, her car went all the way across the road into the trees and got stuck between a tree. And the other woman wound up, like Jeffrey said, on the side of the road there, facing the other direction.
So we got out of our car after she got done talking with 911 dispatch about where this is at. And the lady that asked us to call them asked me if I can walk over to talk to the kids because they already got the grandkids out of the car. So me and Mama walked over there, and they were already like in a huddle, like campfire position, and they were already crying their eyes out. Some of them had like a few gashes on their foreheads, but it was nothing too major. So me and her sat down, and you kind of just said like, hello.
Yeah, well, you talked to the kids because the lady wanted him to see if she help keep them calm until help arrived. And the grandma was still in the car, so of course they were upset. But when they got there, she had then got pinned in, so they were having trouble getting her out.
Yeah, and I told the kids, I said, don't worry, when the paramedics arrive, they're going to get her out. But I don't know if you mentioned something about like because I got hurt and I showed my arm to him.
Yes, you showed that it'll be okay because he got healed, and they would be fine. The grandma would be fine.
Yeah, so when the police, deputy sheriffs, and I think they had like a few firefighters there and the paramedic ambulance people showed up, a woman paramedic walked over to the car to talk to the grandma, and she noticed that she was pinned in, so the other guys had to go over and cut the door off.
They had to cut the door off to get her out. The doors were kind of stuck in between where the trees were. And then she was stuck in, and they had to wind up, couldn't save her leg because the leg had gotten jammed up in there as well. They finally got her out of the car.
Yeah, I remember seeing when they rolled her on the stretcher that I barely got a glimpse of it, but I saw her nub where her leg used to be and saw a little blood, but I didn't want to say nothing around them kids. One cop asked me to hold a flashlight, and I think they asked you to do the same thing as well. Because one of the boys had like a gash that was going down his head, and I remember he pulled out a container that looked like something you would pour rubbing alcohol out of, and he got so frightened. We're like, no, it will hurt. He said, no. He said, it's just water. It's not going to burn you. So he poured it on a rag, and we were trying to calm him down too, to tell him, yeah, listen to the officer, it's just water. And he was like this, just wiping it off. And then I remember paramedics had to put like one of those neck collar devices just so it would keep his head stable. And they put him on the gurney, took him in the back of the ambulance, and then all the other kids got into the other ambulances that came. And they all took off to the hospital along with the grandma.
But the lady in the other car was pregnant. I let her use my phone to call her husband to let him know what had happened and that they were going to take her to the hospital so he could meet her there. And then several days after that, he called me back because he kept a number where she had called him from, and called me back just to tell me thank you for stopping and helping because a lot of people wouldn't have done that. But he said she was doing good and everything, so he just wanted to call and personally thank me for stopping and helping. But you never know what you're gonna run across, and God puts you in these situations to where I guess testing you and seeing if you will help the other folks. And you just need to be that person and help out when you can, because you never know when you're gonna need help yourself.
That's right. But I remember when she opened up the door, the airbag that deployed on her, I was afraid for the baby's life
Yeah.
right there because I was afraid that impact when it bust out, I was afraid that it hit her stomach or something.
Yeah, but she wound up delivering, had a healthy baby boy. We knew that because
She don't remember this part, but a year later, when me and her were shopping at Walmart, we were in the grocery aisle, and the pregnant woman's dad saw us, and he said, "Are you the two that helped out my daughter in that car incident last year?" And I said, "Yes, that's us." And he said, "Yeah, I'm the dad," and he wanted to thank us personally too. Said that she gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and I said, like, that was good news to hear. But once everything was taken control of by the people that were dispatched, we got back in our car to go head over towards
my aunt's house.
Yeah, I was
Pick
waiting,
up
I was waiting, I
Grandma.
was waiting for the car to go by, and we told them what happened, and they were like shocked because they didn't think we were making.
They were just glad we were able to help and that we weren't involved.
Yeah, so we got my grandma, put her in the car, and took her home. And we rode by that scene, and everybody was already gone by that point, but the cars were still there. Like they didn't call nobody to pick up like record trucks to pick them up. And we dropped her off at her house, went home, and told Daddy what happened. He was stunned to believe it too, but he was glad too that we were there to help out. And that night, before we went to bed, we got down on our knees to pray to the Lord to make sure He watches over them kids and the grandma and the pregnant lady.
Timing that we went by there too, just like you don't ever know. It could have been us in that accident.
Oh yeah, it
as
could have
well.
been.
And we would have wanted somebody to stop and help us as well. So you just don't never know, folks.
But I can tell you that was one traumatic experience for me and her. I just thought we'd get on here and share it. Now we're not trying to brag about it, but what do you want to say?
I don't know. When God puts you in those situations, just do your best to help as much as you can. Help the other person, because you never know when you might need it.
But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that little story time episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more story related content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tinmans Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tinman Taylor, and I said that's a wrap, and have a nice day.
Bye, folks.